Let's start our class by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss the final section of chapter 3. That's basis in Pali, Vatthu. Let's make a short review about previous lessons that we have done in chapter 3. So there are 6 sections. What are them? Vedana, Hetu, Kicca, Dvara, Arammana, Vatthu. Vedana means feeling. Hetu, roots. Kicca, functions. Dvara, doors. Arammana, objects. Vatthu, bases. Now we come to the last section. That's bases, or in Pali, Vatthu. This is the last section of chapter 3, Pakiṇṇakaparicchedo. So up to now we have learned some details about Vatthu. We have learned about Vatthu also in the lesson Dvara or doors. Only a little difference between Dvara and Vatthu. So now we are repeating the same. Now we are repeating same type of teachings again and again. Therefore, this would be very familiar with you. Okay, let's move into Vatthu. So we have to identify what are the Vatthu, what are the bases, and how consciousness arise depend on those bases. And also we should know the bases which relates to the realms. These are the things now today we are going to discuss. Now let's move into our explain about the bases. As we know, we have 6 bases. We have already discussed in previous lessons. Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, heart base. Among these 6 bases, 5 are completely same with first 5 doors. I think you can remember eye door, ear door, nose door, tongue door, and body door. 6th one, mind door. In the doors section of the door, here base, the 6th one would be heart base. Therefore, regarding bases, all the 6 bases are rupa or materials. You can review previous lesson to get detailed explanation on those bases. So eye base mean actual eye sensitivity, ear base, ear sensitivity, nose base, nose sensitivity, tongue base, tongue sensitivity, body base, body sensitivity. Actually, heart base means not the heart that we see in in biological sense. Abhidhamma commentary, especially Dhamma Saṅgaha commentary, mentioned that what is a heart base? Heart base means there is a very subtle materiality that gives the base to arise other mentalities except Dvipancha Vijnana. We call those 10 consciousness. 2 eye consciousness, 2 ear consciousness, 2 nose consciousness, 2 tongue consciousness, 2 body consciousness. Except those chittas. Heart base gives the base to arise them. Therefore, it's not the heart what we see according to biology or in anatomical sense. Dhammasangani commentary mentioned that. So this subtle materiality can be seen. It arises with the blood in the heart. It's not the entire heart. Heart base means there is a subtle materiality which can be explained, that is based on or that's associated with, that mixed with, rise with the blood always come and go out from the heart. So that's why I think we can experience when we have anger, strong anger, anxiety, stress, depression, regret. We feel something, it's pain in our chest, inside the chest, almost in the heart. Also, we feel sometimes we are worrying and we have a strong sadness. In those situations, we feel it's very, very heavy. And sometimes we feel burning our chest. That means those mentalities arise something inside our chest, close to heart, inside heart. Also, when we also experience that when we practice meditation, for example, metta meditation, loving kindness, when we are able to concentrate in good level, and when we can spread loving kindness to ourselves and others, well, at that time we feel our heart is full with, our heart filled with that loving kindness. That something come from our heart. That's how we feel when we develop meditation. There's a controversy between the modern science and the Theravāda teachings. Always modern science try to point out brain, that those mentalities arises. So there is a big controversy. However, we cannot prove everything with evidences. Some teachings can be understood by our very deep knowledge, deep wisdom. Therefore, we don't want to compare those things. But however, there is a strong relationship between brain and the arising of those mentalities. Therefore, I don't have much more knowledge about brain science. But when we consider about it, so according to modern science, there should be a strong relation. But in the Theravada tradition, it was not addressed regarding the relation between brain and mind. It always talk about these 6 bases. eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and heart base. Okay. Now let's move into the realms and the bases. You know, we usually classify 3 realms: Kama realm, sensuous realm, Rupa realm, the only fine materiality, and Arupa realm, without Rupa, without materiality, immaterial realm. Kama realm means 4 woeful states, 1 human realm, and 6 Deva realms, altogether 11. Rupa realm, actually, we have 16 Rupa realms. Here we take only 15, except Asanya Satta, because Asanya Satta people, we will learn about these individuals in future. Except Asanya Satta, because Asanya Satta has only Rupa, because their mind never arises. They have only few Rupas. Therefore, eye base, ear base, heart base do not arise in Asanya Satta. Then, so how many bases in Rupa? There are 6 bases in Kama realm: eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and heart base. In Rupa realm, they have only 3 bases. What are them? Eye base, ear base, and heart base. What are the reasons for non-arising of those other bases in Rupa realm, such as nose base, tongue base, and body base? We can find 2 reasons in the commentary literature. One thing is, nose base, tongue base, body base are entirely for to experience sensual pleasure. Rupa Brahmas never indulge with sensual pleasure, because they have already suppressed and they reborn in Rupa realm. Therefore, they don't want to indulge with those sensual pleasure. But eye base and ear base are not only for get the sensual pleasure. For example, it was mentioned in the commentary, Rupa Brahmas needs to see each other or see Buddha. They want to see Sangha. As well as they want to listen Dhamma. They want to discuss Dhamma. Therefore, they need eye base and ear base. Another reason is, as I mentioned, that they have already suppressed their sensual desire, and they reborn in the Rupa realm. In the Rupa realm, they don't have hindrances of Nivarana. According to teaching of the karma, our previous defilements specially influence to get a rebirth in next life, connecting with the karma. Therefore, those who reborn in Rupa realm, they have suppressed sensual desire. Therefore, when they reborn in Rupa realm, they do not have influence from the sensual, the craving for sensual pleasure. or sensual desire. That's another reason that nose base, tongue base, and body base do not arise in Rupa realm. And it's nothing to say about heart base. The remaining consciousness arise in heart base. What about the Arupa realm? Arupa means no any Rupa. They have only mind and mentality, so mental factors. They are only mind. Therefore, Rupa realm, they do not have any basis, no basis. So let's summarize again. In Kama realm, 6 bases. Rupa realm, 3 bases. Arupa realm, no. Okay. If so, here we have to pay attention for 3 sections. What are them? Chittas that always depend on bases. So you can see the number 10 plus 33, 43. Later we will classify what are those chittas. Then next one, number 2, chittas that sometimes depend on bases. There are 42. Then chittas that never depend on bases. There are 4. In this section, so we have to pay attention for these 3 sections. I will repeat again. Chittas that always depend on bases, 43. Chittas that sometimes depend on bases, 42. Chittas that never depend on bases, 4. So now let's try to classify. Let's try to find what are these chittas with reasons. For first 5, it's not difficult, it's very easy. 2 eye consciousness based on eye base. 2 ear consciousness based on ear base, or they arise in ear base. 2 nose consciousness based on nose base. 2 tongue consciousness based on tongue base, and 2 body consciousness based on body base. That's why, so these are the overall explanation. So there are some special cases. For example, born blind person, born deaf. Born blind person does not have eye base. Therefore, eye consciousness, 2 eye consciousness do not arise in those born blind person. Also, for deaf, they do not have ear base. Therefore, ear consciousness do not arise for deafs. Therefore, those are special cases. Generally, we consider about the healthy man or healthy woman, human. For them, they have those 6 bases. For eye base, eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, and body base, body consciousness. So we have to pay attention for heart base. It's the one we have to memorize, because these things, so automatically we can remember. Regarding heart base, as you remember, we have to classify to 3 sections: always, and sometimes, and never. Here, always means we can see heart base in Kama realm and the Rupa realm. Therefore, that means not in Arupavachara realm. Therefore, those chittas never arise in Arupavachara realm. Let's try to explain one by one. Now you are familiar with Manodhatu. Manodhatu means Panchadvara Vajjana Chitta and 2 Sampatichana Chittas. When we see visible forms, Chakku Vijnana arises in eye consciousness, arises in eye base. Can you remember the remaining chittas that we have discussed in the door, eye door? There are 46 chittas. Panchadvara Vajjana, then Chakku Vijnana in the eye base, then Sampatichana, Samtirana, Uttapana, and Javana, either Kusala or Akusala, also more unwholesome, then Tadaramana. Remaining chittas arise in heart base. Arupa Brahmas cannot see, or cannot listen, cannot smell, cannot taste, or cannot experience tangible objects, cannot touch. Therefore, those chittas do not arise in Arupavachara realm or Arupavachara beings. Therefore, these three chittas arise always based on heart base. When they arise in Kama realm and also Rupa realm. For example, Rupa Brahmas see visible forms and they listen. Then when they see Buddha, when they come to Buddha, and also when they listen Dhamma, also at that time, they have Sota Vijnana, ear consciousness, arises through ear door. Except these two ear consciousness, the remaining chittas arises based on heart base. Okay. Now let's move into the next one, Dosamula Chittas. Why Dosamula Chittas do not arise in Arupavachara realm? Actually, Dosamula Chittas do not arise in also Rupavachara realm. You know, we have 5 hindrances: sensual desire, kamachanda, ill will, vyapada, then thinamidda, slotantopa, uddachakukkucha, restless and worry, vichikicha, doubt. Among them, dosa always become hindrances. So according to the Theravāda teaching, dosa is always hindrance. But lobha, sometimes hindrances, sometimes not hindrances. For example, Brahmas also attached to their jhana, their jhana chitta. That's not a hindrance. Sensual desire is the hindrance. Therefore, Dosamula Chitta arise in Kama realm, not in the Rupa realm, not in the Arupavachara realm. Therefore, when Dosamula Chitta arises, they always depend on heart base. Then we know Samtirana and Hasituppada. Hasituppada means, smiling consciousness, because we need body to make a smile, because it doesn't arise in Arupavachara. It's very clear. Then, can you remember the function of Samtirana? Among the 3 Samtirana, please pay attention for their functions. 1 Somanasa and 2 Upekkha. What are the functions of the 2 Upekkha? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, Samtirana and Tadaramana. 2 Upekkha Samtirana Chittas have 5 functions. When they arise in Kama realm and the Rupa realm, functioning as Samtirana. Only Rupa realm we can see only 2 doors, either eye door or ear door. When they perform Santirana function, they arise in Rupa realm and Kama realm. Later on, I will tell there are some conditions of the Tadarammana Chitta. Tadarammana Chitta, so let's move into that. Tadarammana Chitta always arise in Kama realm, only Kama Vachara realm, only sensuous plane. And also it should be Kama Vachara object. Tadarammana Chittas always take Kama Vachara object. Then it should be Tadarammana Chittas always arise after Kama Vachara Javana. Then another one, it's only arise in only Kama Vachara beings. So these are the conditions. Therefore, Tadarammana Chittas do not arise in Rupa Vachara realm. Okay, let's move into the previous one. Therefore, when Santirana arise in Rupa Vachara realm, they perform only Santirana function, not the Tadarammana function. As we know, when we were discussing Santirana, among Tupekha Santirana, so Akusala Vipaka Upekha Santirana for the rebirth consciousness for woeful beings in Apaya. For Ahetuka, the rebirth, that means born blind, born deaf. That's the rebirth consciousness, for Upekha, the rootless rebirth consciousness. Upekha Sahagata Santirana, rebirth consciousness. So that's in only Kama Vachara realm. Then Somanasa Santirana, how many functions? Somanasa Santirana. There are two functions for Somanasa Santirana. Santirana function and Tadarammana function. When it performs Santirana function in Rupavachara realm, and it can perform both Santirana and Tadarammana function in Kama realm. Please pay attention for functions section of the lesson of the function. So it's a most complicated section in this chapter. Therefore, we have to master functions to go to next lessons. Okay, so those are the reasons for arising Santirana in only Rupavachara realm and Kama realm. Then Mahavipaka. So what are the functions of the Mahavipaka? Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti, and Tadarammana. Patisandhi or rebirth gives in Kama realm. Therefore, Mahavipaka performs, when they performs Patisandhi function, only in Kama realm. Then Bhavanga function in Kama realm. Chuti function in Kama realm. What about Tadarammana? Because we have discussed that Tadarammana Chittas arise, Tadarammana function perform only in Kamavachara realm. Therefore, not in Arupavachara realm. Nothing to say about, not in Rupavachara realm, nothing to say about Arupavachara. Therefore, Tadarammana arises, Tadarammana Chittas arise only in Kama realm. Therefore, Mahavipaka Chittas rise always depend on heart base. Then what about Rupavachara Chittas? You know, Rupavachara Jhana Chittas can be developed by human as well as Rupavachara Brahmas. This Rupavachara Jhana Chittas based on whatever form. For example, when someone develop kasina meditation, they first based on kasina object. Or anapanasati, they based on rupa. They start with rupa. They start their meditation with rupa. For kayagata sati, they start meditation with rupa. For asubha, they start meditation with those asubha forms, the bodies. Therefore, even either in the kama realm or rupa realm, rupavachara chittas arise in only kamavachara realm and rupavachara realm. They need some object to start to proceed their jhana chittas, to continue their jhana chittas. For Putujjana and Ariyas, Rupavachara Kusala Chittas may arise. For Arahants, Rupavachara Kiriya Chittas. What about the Rupavachara Vipaka Chittas? Rupavachara Vipaka Chittas arise in Rupavachara realm. Can you remember their functions? What are the functions of Rupavachara Vipaka? Patisandhi, Bhavanga Chuti in Rupavachara realm. Therefore, Rupavachara Vipaka Chittas arise in Rupavachara realm only. So when they arise, they depend on heart base. And Rupavachara Kusala and Kiriya arise in Kama realm. They also depend on heart base. Also, when Rupavachara Brahmas develop their jhanas, Rupavachara jhanas, those chittas always depend on heart base. Therefore, you have to memorize these things, because when we are coming to find out the chittas that arise for those individuals separately, so we need this knowledge again. Then what is the cause for the reason for the Sotapatti Magga Chitta? It is mentioned in Anguttara Nikaya and also Itivuttaka Pali. We need two conditions to become a noble one. Yoniso Manasikara and Parathogosa in Pali. That means wise attention and listening from others. That's for not for Buddha and Pacceka Buddha, that's for remaining. Even great disciples. Therefore, those who want to attain noblehood at the first level, we call Sotapatti level, as a stream enterer, he or she should listen Dhamma. That's essential. Buddha and Pacceka Buddhas are only persons who attain Nibbana, realize Four Noble Truths, without other supports. Remaining all the Aryas, including great disciples, Mahasavakas, Agga Mahasavakas, need to listen Dhamma. Even Venerable Sariputta needs to listen Dhamma from Arahant Assaji, his teacher Venerable Assaji. So if so, some may argue that. If so, why for Buddha and Pacceka Buddha? Because Buddhas and Pacceka Buddhas only appear in Kama realm. They are only human. Buddhas and Pacceka Buddhas arise only in human realm. They are humans, not the Devas, not the Brahmas. Buddha and Pacceka Buddha, nothing to say about the inner Arupavachara realm, because it was mentioned, Arupavachara realm was mentioned as the unsuitable place to be reborn, because those who reborn in Arupavachara realm, its lifespan is very long. Even Buddha rise, they cannot listen Dhamma. So we need to listen Dhamma and to attain Sotapatti Magga. Therefore, Sotapatti Magga Chitta arise only in Kamavachara realm and Rupavachara realm, because when Rupavachara Brahmas listen Dhamma, they can attain Sotapatti Magga. Or human or Devas listen Dhamma, they can attain Sotapatti Magga. So it's elementary. But those who attain first level, first stage as stream enterer, when they develop Arupavachara jhanas, then when they reborn in Arupavachara realm, they can develop remaining Magga Chittas, remaining stages, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahat. For the first stage, it's essential to listen Dhamma. That's why Sotapatti Magga Chitta arise in Kama realm and Rupavachara realm only. So those are the reasons for rising of those chittas only in Kamavachara and Rupavachara realm, especially based on heart base. Therefore, those chittas do not arise in Arupavachara realm. So we can ask questions in various ways. What are the chittas that do not arise in Arupavachara realm? Or we can ask, what are the chittas that always depend on heart base? Same answer. Okay. We have already discussed the conditions of Tadarammana. Then, what are the chittas that arise sometimes depend on heart base? That means, in another word, those chittas can arise in Arupavachara realm. So you can see the chittas, there are 42. You can think what are the reasons also. That means, so I have quoted from sentence from Sayadaw U Sīlānanda Abhivansa. That means, when they arise in Kamavachara and Rupavachara realm, they will depend on heart base. When they arise in Arupavachara realm, they will not depend on heart base. That means the chittas can arise in Arupavachara realm, because when those chittas arise in Arupavachara realm, they do not want heart base. When those chittas arise in Kamavachara and Rupavachara realm, they arise depending on heart base. So this is the principle of those chittas that arise sometimes depending on heart base. Okay, what are they? Lobha-mula chittas. It's very clear that when Lobha-mula chittas arise in Kama realm, so when we have greed, that those chittas depends on heart base. Also, as I mentioned, that sometimes Lobha-mula chittas arise in Rupavachara realm, Rupavachara Brahmas. Not sensual desire, maybe subtle attachment towards the jhana chittas. Those Lobha-mula chittas also subtle craving, subtle attachment arise in Arupavachara realms at that time, 8 low-mula chittas may arise. Similarly, mohamula chittas, doubt and restlessness may arise in Kamavachara beings, Narupavachara beings and Arupavachara beings. Then for Manodvara Vajjana. So what are the functions of Manodvara Vajjana? There are 2 functions, Avajjana function and the adverting function, and Vattabhana, determine. Can you remember those? Dwarika Vitiyo. Mind or thought process. Manodvara Vajjana Chitta is essential. So Manodvara Vajjana Chitta is the one who starts mind or thought process. Therefore, it's essential for everyone to arise, to start thought process. Then Kamavachara Sobhana Kusala or Mahakusala Chitta. Because Mahakusala Chitta arises in human and for devas and animals and also Rupavachara beings. For example, Rupavachara Brahmas come and listen Dhamma. At that time, Rupavachara Kusala Chitta arises. And when Arupavachara Brahmas develop their jhanas in the beginning level before attaining jhana levels, so at that time Kusala Chitta may arise. What about Kamavachara Kriya? There are Mahakriya. So Kriya Chittas arise in Arahants. We know those Kriya Chittas except Ahetuka. When Arahants preach Dhamma or they listen Dhamma, at that time Kamavachara Kusala Chittas arise for Arahants. For Rupavachara Arahants, similarly, when Arahant Brahma listen Dhamma and they listen, they see Buddha, Kriya Chittas arise, Mahakriya Chittas. Similarly, as we mentioned that there are also Arahants in Arupavachara realm. Arupavachara Brahmas have those Kamavachara Mahakriya Chittas. For Arupavachara Arahants. Similarly, Arupavachara Kusala. When human beings develop Arupavachara jhanas, they have Arupavachara Kusala Chittas. For Arya, for noble beings, similarly, Arupavachara Kusala Chittas. When Devas cultivate Arupavachara jhanas, they have Arupavachara Kusala Chittas. Also, when Rupavachara Brahmas develop Arupavachara Kusala Chittas, they have those Arupavachara Kusala Chittas. Then what about the Kriya Chittas? That's for Arahants. When Arahants develop Arupavachara jhanas, they have those Arupavachara Kriya Chittas. Either in the human realm or in the when Deva also the Brahmas, because no Arahants in the Deva realm, it was mentioned in the commentary. So when Arahant Brahmas develop Arupavachara jhanas, at that time Arupavachara Kriya Chittas arise. Also, as we mentioned that noble person may reborn in Arupavachara realm, then they develop inside meditation and they can attain Arahantship. After that, when they develop Arupavachara jhanas, Arupavachara Kriya Chittas arise for Arupavachara Arahant Brahmas. then supramundane chittas except Sotapatti Magga. As we mentioned that Sotapatti Magga arise in Kama realm or Rupa realm, because they need Rupa, they need ear to listen Dhamma. Those who attain Sakadagamihud, Anagamihud, Arahanthood as once returner, non-returner, and as Arahants, as human, they can those chittas arise, those Lokuttara chittas arise in those beings. And when Brahmas, Rupavachara Brahmas develop, inside meditation, they can attain Sotapatti, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant. Also, when Narupavachara Brahmas, that's only for noble one. When someone, for example, when human being attain Sotapatti Magga, then he develops Arupavachara Jhana levels. Then he reborn in Arupavachara realm as Sotapatti, as stream enterer, Sotapanna. Then he develops inside meditation in Arupavachara realm. At that time, he can attain Sakadagami level as once returner, and Anagami level, non-returning level, and Arahant. At that time, Sakadagami Magga may arise, Sakadagami Phala, Anagami Magga, Anagami Phala, Arahatta Magga, and Arahatta Phala. What about Sotapatti Phala? For example, when they are reborn in Arupavachara realm as stream enterer, they can attain their Phala Samapatti, attainment of their fruition. When stream enterer reborn in Arupavachara realm, before attaining the second level of Sakadagami level, they can attain their attainment of fruition. We call Phala Samapatti in Pali. At that time, Sotapatti Phala Chitta arises in Arupavachara Brahmas. So those are the reasons for arising those chittas in Arupavachara realm, as well as in other realms. Altogether, how many? Okay, let's repeat again. Chittas sometimes depend on heart base. In other words, chittas can arise in Arupavachara realm. What are they? 8 Lobamula chittas, 2 Mohamula chittas, 1 Manodvara Vajjana chitta, 8 Kamavachara Sobhana Kusala O, 8 Mahakusala chittas, 8 Kamavachara Sobhana Kiriya O, 8 Mahakiriya chittas, Arupavachara Kusala chittas 4, Arupavachara Kiriya chittas 4, Lokuttara chittas except Sotapatti Magga 7. Altogether there are 42. So these are the chittas. These 42 chittas can arise in Arupavachara realm, or we can say in other words, those 42 chittas arise based on heart base sometimes. So therefore, we have to memorize those chittas with their numbers to proceed to next lessons, especially for Chitta Viti, cognitive process. Chittas arise without base. It's not difficult. Can you remember functions of Arupavachara Vipaka chittas? There are 3 functions. What are they? Patisandhi, rebirth function in where? Rebirth function in Arupavachara realm. Similarly, Bhavanga, life continuum, and Chuti, death. Patisandhi, Bhavanga, Chuti functions in Arupavachara realm. Those are the functions of Arupavachara Vipaka chittas. Therefore, arupavachara vipaka chittas only arise in arupavachara realm. Therefore, they don't want hard base. No hard base in arupavachara realm, and arupavachara vipaka chittas always arise in arupavachara realm, performing patisandhi, bhavanga, chuti functions. So, 4 arupavachara vipaka chittas always arise without base. Okay. Then just another explanation and another classification given on realms and elements. Elements we call dhatu, or in Pali we say it as viññāna dhatu. There are 7 viññāna dhatu. You know, now I use those Pali terms. Now you are familiar with those terms. Chakku viññāna dhatu, sota viññāna dhatu, gahana viññāna dhatu, jivha viññāna dhatu, and kaya viññāna dhatu. Then mano dhatu means 3 chittas. What are them? Panchadvara Vajjana and Sampariccana. Remaining chittas are called as Mano Viññāna Dhatu. So again, let's summarize those bases and consciousness with this perspective, with this angle. Kamavachara realm, we have 6 bases, and regarding Dhatu, Viññāna Dhatu, 7 Viññāna Dhatu, or 7 consciousness elements arise in Kamavachara realm. Chakku viññāna, sota viññāna, gahana viññāna, jivha viññāna, kaya viññāna, and mano viññāna dhatu. Then regarding Rupavachara and Arupavachara realms, how many bases? There are 3 bases in Rupavachara realm: eye base, ear base, and heart base. Chakku, sota, hadaya. Base in Pali we call Vatthu. That means Chakku Vatthu in Pali, Chakku Vatthu, Sota Vatthu, Hadaya Vatthu. What are the elements that arise in Rupavachara realm? Chakku Viññāna Dhatu, eye consciousness, Sota Viññāna Dhatu, ear consciousness, then Mano Dhatu, then Mano Viññāna Dhatu. Arupavachara realm, how many bases? No bases, no Rupa. Only they have only one element. What is that element? That's Mano Viññāna Dhatu. Okay. Today we have discussed especially the bases, what are the bases, and those bases or Vatthu related with their realms. In which realms those bases arise. And the main attention was to classify 3 sections: chittas that always depend on bases, chittas that sometimes depend on bases, and chittas that never depend on bases. Now you can see those numbers. Chittas always depend on bases. Here 10 means Dvipancha Viññāna. To Chakku Viññāna, always based on eye base. To Sota Viññāna, to ear consciousness, ear base. To nose consciousness, nose base. To body consciousness, to tongue consciousness, tongue base. To body consciousness, body base. Then we have discussed those 33 chittas, always based on heart base. Then Arupavachara Vipaka chittas never depend on bases. Then remaining 42 chittas sometimes depend on bases. That means when those 42 chittas arise in Arupavachara realm, they do not depend on bases because they do not have Rupa, they do not have bases. When those 42 chittas arise in Kama realm and Arupavachara realm, they depend on heart base. Therefore, please try to digest these chittas regarding with the bases. So this teaching is very important when you are going to study chitta viti or thought process. Up to now, we have completed 3 chapters, Chitta, Cetasika and Pakiṇṇaka. Chapter of consciousness, chapter of mental factors, then chapter of miscellaneous chapter. In this chapter, we have discussed 6 sections. I will repeat again. Feelings, Vedana, fruits, Hetu, Kiccha, functions, Dvara, doors, then objects, Ārambana, then today Vatthu, basis. Before moving to next chapter, I don't know whether you need revision for this chapter again or not. Please mention if you want revision for this chapter again, so we can do one revision lesson before starting our next chapter. That's all for today. Okay, let's share merits to Devas and all the beings by reciting stanzas. Ittavatacahammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacahammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe bhutang anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacahammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha sāsanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha desanam. Ākāsattha ca bhummattha devānāga mahiddhika puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sambuddha sāvake ciran rakkhantu maṃ paraṃ. Buddha sāsanam ciran tiṭṭhatu, Buddha sāsanam ciran tiṭṭhatu, Buddha sāsanam ciran tiṭṭhatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.